How things been going?
Yeah, they've been good, mate. We had Black Friday yesterday. It was obviously a bit busy, really busy actually. Very grateful for it. You know, I just have this vision of Black Friday in my mind. It never really was an online thing before. It used to be like, you know, you'd get to fucking Costco at 6 in the morning, willing to fight to the death for 75% off a TV. It'd almost be worth catching an assault charge to drop kick an 80-year-old just to be able to get a new TV. I'm not condoning that, but that's what it was like. That's how I remember Black Friday. You know, I thought it was called Black Friday because that would be the colour of your eyes after fighting to save money on that new TV. But it's not like that anymore. Anyway, update time, let's go. Welcome to episode 8 of the warehouse build. Lots been going on. We've been cracking on throughout this cold weather. It's a blistery few degrees today. We are working on Saturday, so we're filming at the weekend. It's the end of November now. Let's see what's been going on. We've put down some type 1 onto the floor to absorb some of that mud. We had so much mud here. If you remember when we were bringing in that steel delivery in the last episode, you can see how difficult it was to load materials in. But now that we've put this down, we're not trailing mud into the warehouse. People aren't getting upset with their boots getting soaked in mud. It was a really simple thing to do. We should have done it earlier, to be honest, to just get a little delivery. We hang the bag over, we cut the bottom of the bag, and we put some type 1 down. And now we actually have like a proper pathway into the warehouse and no one's upset about getting all muddy and wet. So I'm really glad that's been done. Before we had lots of hardcore and just bits of brick laying around. They're just easy ankle breakers. So now that it's all flat and smooth, it just makes walking in a lot easier. So easy, I'm gonna show you how easy. Are you ready?
Yeah.
These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do.
In terms of the leftover panels that are in the warehouse, the ones that we need to demolish, it's these ones here, just along here. If you remember, we had that recent steel delivery, which are actually gonna be the replacement columns for these areas. The problem is that we have to cut out some of this concrete on the floor here, expose the foundations to be able to see what's really going on with the steels, because we're going to replace them and fill them in with new concrete. So we've got to cut all the concrete down here and put in a new reinforced concrete beam that will support these walls. So these are going to come out. We're going to pour new RC beam, reinforced concrete beam, here, and that will support the new blockwork that goes up, and it will go right up to the existing beams that are here. We've already started the area for the reinforced concrete beam at the bottom. These were the panels that we already removed. We've tidied up the area, we've brushed out all the dirt and the leftover hardcore that was here, and we've started to just prepare some shuttering for the concrete pour. We'll lay some plastic sheet in, we'll put in the rebar, which is like the steel reinforcement, and then we'll pour the concrete here. Once that concrete's poured, then George, the bricklayer, again if you remember, he'll continue his block work to that panel at the bottom there, and then he can finish building 1, 2, 3, 4 of these panels here. And then we're gonna have this whole area closed off. Once that's done, that's when we'll start the next panels, which are these ones here. We've got the columns for them. We'll attach them to the beam, hang them in place, and then we'll fill the bases of them with concrete so that they're nice and secure and in line of where they need to be. So that's gonna be the next stage for this area. Now, it is still a bit muddy in this area, mainly because we are using the hose to mix up mortar for the bricklayers on the other side of this wall. They're doing the exterior facing brick at the moment. So they're just on the scaffolding there. And then we've got Engie and the carpenter working on the roof light openings for this little showroom area. So when we drop the roof lights in, we need to have these openings and upstands made for the roof light modules to sit in. James and Engie are working on that right now. They're cutting all the pieces in place and preparing everything so that when the skylight company come in, they can drop them in and fit them to make sure they're all nicely within tolerance and to the dimensions that we've ordered. They're working on that now, and that's the update for that particular area. Under the mezzanine hasn't changed much. The insulation board is still in there. So there's not too much to go through there, but the roofers have been using some of the materials because the roof has started this week. Just before we head upstairs, this is an example of what the roof light opening's like. So you can see we've done all the joists in the roofing area, and then you build these upstands, and you've got it all prepared nicely, ready for those modules to be dropped in. The roofers actually have to finish this part of the roof first by building the flashing around the upstand. Modules can't be dropped in until that flashing is prepared, because in terms of the outside ceiling, that needs to be finished by the roofers, and then when the modules are dropped in, they'll seal it into the actual opening itself. We're back in the mezzanine now. You can see it's super dusty.
You look dusty.
Mainly because the chippies have been hard at work. James, our carpenter, has been working really hard to push us on with regards to getting all the joisting up done, the skylight openings all done. And you can see we've got all these joists in place. We've built the upstand for the big ridge light that's going to be going across here. And we've also been preparing the skylight openings on there, which we filmed from downstairs. Because we did have a bad period of weather, we thought we would put some plastic sheeting on the outside just for the time being. This is a good area that we can work in, but if you imagine, if we've got tools in here and we've got an open top, the rain will just damage all the tools. We don't want any of James's nice tools getting damaged. We want to make sure they're all good. James is here now. If you want to say hello, James. And we're going to carry on working hard in here and using this area as a bit of a dry space to prepare materials so that we can then take them and fit them in place. So this is what this is at the moment, a bit of a dry working area. We've continued some more of the block work on the outside, which is a bit difficult to see because of the plastic sheeting, but soon this is all going to be tidied up, all swept up, all the sawdust gone, and we can start preparing this area because we've been speaking to the roof light company. They found an installer who's willing to put this ridge light in for us. We're working through the pricing now, but we will be putting the full ridge light in here and it should be beautiful. I'm really, really looking forward to that. And finally, it's gonna be as we envisioned on our 3D drawing. Very excited for this part. We've also done the block work for this wall here and created the opening. It's not actually gonna be a door here. We're gonna have the mechanical sliding doors and this is gonna be the opening. We took some of the stairs, the older stairs, and cut them. What was left over, funnily enough, was perfect for a nice little area for us to step in and out of. But essentially, if you imagine we have that Star Wars door design here, it will open automatically. You'll walk down and this will be into the development room. So that will be the step down into the area. So we've gained a lot of space by extending the mezzanine into here because this wasn't even here before. But you can see behind me, we've got some shade and that can only mean one thing, and that's our roof has started. Look where we are. We are in the recreational space. We have shade, and that's because we've started the roof. We've got plywood sheet above. Do that first layer, and then we put VCL, which is like a plastic membrane water barrier that goes on top of the plywood. So the roofers, we've been blessed with good weather this week in terms of rain, so they've been able to crack on for the whole of this working week. Some of the things that we had to do in this area was the joist hanger corners had to be cut off a bit because they were meant to by the fabricators, but they kind of forgot that. So we've had to cut those by hand. Cut all the joists, fold them into place. Essentially, this is going to happen 4 times. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. We've already done the other side as well. We've also built some of the skylight openings for the natural light to come through. We do a double joist in these areas so that it's really strong for the frame that gets mounted in there. So as you can see now, our Madonna roof is really starting to get there, and soon this building will be watertight, which is what I've been wanting for so long, to see the shape come together and for it to be watertight so we have no more rain. In about 2 to 3 weeks, this whole area should be boarded, covered, protected from the rain, and we'll be good to go. Now let's go to the other side where phase 2 of our steels for the main roof has started. We had our final delivery of steel, what I've been waiting for ages, and we already started to erect it. Giggity. My turn this time, James. And we are almost finished in terms of erecting this steel. We only got a few more beams to do, but Jack, who's also a school friend, came early this week and started cracking on with this with his colleague. So we've got all these columns going up, we've got these large beams going across, and we'll just be essentially duplicating what we had done before with that first delivery of steel for the main roof. We'll cut all these joists, get them into place, bolt into place, and by the time the roofers have finished that area, this area will then be ready for them to just jump on straight away. So like I said, I think it was in episode 5 or 6 about the fluidity of everything happening all at once, and that's essentially what's happening right now. We've got the roofers starting one area, we've got other areas being finished off, but as they get finished off, the roofers move to the next bit. So that's what's gonna happen here. We'll be building the skylight openings in these areas too, because there are skylights here, and then we'll be preparing some of the stud work in between, because this is our corridor. So you'll actually be walking through here. We're gonna have some cool Star Wars design stuff in here, like the Tantive 4 ship. There's obviously acro props in the way at the moment on the floor, but if you imagine, you'll be walking down the corridor, got doors into the video and photo studio, doors into the office, and then we'll have doors into the kitchenette area. So it's all gonna be really nice. We've got some of the genie still in place, which is obviously being used by Jack and the guys working on putting the steels up, but we've only got a little bit left to do. In order for us to finish that, they've got to come on Monday, and we've had to board out some of the areas just over there above the staircase so that they can move this genie around. If you imagine, It's got these handles. It needs to be moved around quite a lot and positioned into place. The amount of leftover steel that we've got is just sitting on our loading bay. This was the loading bay that we put into place so that when that steel was delivered, they were able to just crane it up here for us, which saved us having to lift it from downstairs upstairs. The beams that you see there are the ones that go along here. We've got some that are going along here and right to our front wall. We did order a couple of extra wind posts just to increase the rigidity of that front wall. Those are in the back of the van now, actually. We picked them up yesterday. Those will go into place near the window openings. It will really keep it more secure so that when the block work goes up at the front, that whole area won't have any risk of moving back and forth. I cannot wait to get this bit finished. The last bit of steel done. We've got the 3 columns downstairs, which I explained earlier, and then we've got these beams that are going to be going across here. Once that's done, we don't need to order any more steel. We don't have to fabricate anything else. It's literally just a case of block panels going up, closing the area in and making it completely watertight. And that is hopefully what I'm going to be showing you guys in the next episode, that progress. So with that being said, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you subscribe because it's getting really exciting now. And soon, these videos will be more about us moving in than construction. So thanks for watching as always, guys. I'll catch you in the next episode. Peace. You know, every time I'm up here, it's sort of, you know, like those paintball arenas and the airsoft arenas, that's what they're kind of like. When they fight around, they've got the little obstacles in place, things like that. Bang, 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 bang. Shit!